you just flat out say that black people are genetically inferior. But here's what the code says. For years, when people bring this up, I go right to the jugular on it, like I try to do on all issues dealing with race. I say, suppose black people, all of the black people on the planet, without exception, or even the majority, you might say, are just inferior people, genetically inferior. I mean, their brains just don't work. That's just all it is to it. Suppose that is the case. What do you do on this planet with a huge number of inferior people, people who have the label? Everybody's done the research and agreed. These people are just flat out inferior. They just ain't got it. I don't care what you do with them. I mean, they just don't have it. Now, that's a question. What do you do with people like this? You practice justice. You do the same thing with inferior people that you do with superior people, or any people in between. You practice justice, meaning you guarantee that no one is mistreated, and you guarantee that the person that needs help the most gets the most constructive help. The solution is still the same if you believe in humanity. Now, if you don't believe in humanity, you just merely stop playing around and start an extermination program and stop trying to kid people. Now, I have come to the conclusion that the white supremacists really don't believe that black people are inferior. And starting with some indication of that was that back in what we call so-called formal slavery in the Northwest Hemisphere, they would always try to get rid of a slave who was curious. Curiosity is the first step toward learning. That slave that's always peeping over the master's shoulder trying to read his books. People like Phyllis Wheatley, people like Booker T. Washington, people like Frederick Douglass. I mean, always trying to find out things. A curious slave is dangerous. A slave is always trying to learn something. See, no one comes in on this planet knowing much of anything. They have to be told by people who are already here. That's how most so-called education is done for the average person. Every now and then, even in a family of 10, you'll have one person who's a little smarter than the other, a little quick-witted, you might say. They might, Agnes there or Camina. I mean, she might be in a family of 10 black people. And everybody else is kind of slow, including the mother and father. But Camina just runs all over the place, can figure out stuff real quick. She does all the other children's homework. We know that. This is the nature of the universe.